Before Top Gun 3 even hits theaters, it's already set to be different from Top Gun Maverick in one major way. Given how Top Gun Maverick took the box office by storm, it was pretty much a given that a third installment would follow, with Maverick ranking as the 12th highest-grossing film of all time and pulling in an impressive $1.46 billion globally. Its success was undeniable. Plus, the development of Maverick was a long journey. It was in the works for 12 years before it finally made its way to the big screen. Even though Tom Cruise recently signed a huge deal with Warner Brothers, Paramount has confirmed that Top Gun 3 is definitely happening. They officially announced it back in January 2024, and Cruise will be back as the legendary Pete Maverick Mitchell. There's also been some buzz about a potential spin-off called Top Gun Rooster, suggested by Miles Teller, which would dive deeper into his character. As for who else might return, Cruise and Teller are pretty much guaranteed, and there's a good chance we'll see Glenn Powell's Hangman, John Hamm's Cyclone, and Jennifer Connelly's Penny back in the mix too. Top Gun Maverick had quite a journey from idea to release. Even though there had been talk about a sequel since the original came out in 1986, Paramount didn't really start working on it until 2010. After that, it took another 12 years to finally make it to theaters and become one of the highest-grossing films ever. But here's the kicker. It's not even been 2 years since Maverick premiered, and a new sequel is already in the works, with some story ideas and production plans on the way. Top Gun 3 probably won't hit theaters until 2026, so Cruise and Paramount have plenty of time to get it just right. However, it might not generate quite the same buzz as Maverick did, considering how long fans waited for that one. With Cruise now in his 60s, it makes sense to get as many Top Gun films with him as possible before he passes the torch. Miles Teller is expected to eventually take over, but having a proper Cruise-led trilogy would be pretty awesome before that happens. Top Gun Maverick really felt the weight of time passing, didn't it? Maverick's no longer the young, cocky pilot from the 1986 film. He's now the older, still ambitious hotshot in the 2022 sequel. While his character remains fairly consistent, the effects of time are clear, especially with Iceman's storyline in Top Gun 2. That film had the nostalgic edge of reviving beloved characters from the past, which gave it a special touch. Top Gun 3 won't have quite the same nostalgic pull, but it's still set to bring its own unique elements to the table. Top Gun 3 is likely to feel more like a straightforward sequel, even if it takes a bit longer to hit theaters. It'll probably follow a similar pattern to Cruise's other big franchise, Mission Impossible, which has seen 4 sequels over the last 12 years. So, expect Top Gun 3 to be a direct follow-up to Maverick rather than a full reboot. If it lands in 2026 or 2027, it could set the stage for new installments every 4 or 5 years, keeping the franchise going strong. Even if Cruise isn't directly involved down the road, Top Gun could turn into one of the most steady action series for the next few decades. One of the highlights of Top Gun Maverick is the new set of Top Gun call signs for the cast. These call signs aren't picked by the pilots themselves, but are assigned as part of the camaraderie among recruits who face high-stakes situations. Even though they can be a bit cheeky, call signs always reflect something fundamental about a pilot's personality. The original film started this cool tradition, and the new call signs in Maverick are just as revealing of the pilot's characters as the ones from the first movie. Lieutenant Bradley Rooster Bradshaw. Miles Teller plays Bradley Rooster Bradshaw, a recruit with a call sign that's a nod to his father, Goose, from the original film. Goose was Maverick's best friend and radar intercept officer, and his tragic death during a failed ejection left a mark on Maverick. Although Maverick was cleared of any wrongdoing, Goose's death still haunts him, especially when it comes to dealing with his own father's mysterious passing. In the sequel, Rooster makes a comment to Maverick saying, "My dad believed in you, I'm not going to make the same mistake." But over time they build a strong trust, even saving each other in the final mission. As for Rooster's call sign, Teller chose it himself from a huge list of options. He liked that Rooster subtly nods to Goose without being too on the nose about it. Lieutenant Jake Hangman Sarrazin. Glenn Powell plays Hangman, one of the standout call signs in the sequel. Although Hangman started out as a smaller role, the producers decided to give him more screen time after Powell's impressive audition, even though he didn't land the role of Rooster. The character's call sign has a bit of a menacing vibe, suggesting he's got a dangerous, no-holds-barred attitude. Hangman is portrayed as a top-notch pilot who thinks he's the best and isn't shy about showing it. His confidence can be a bit much, but it proves useful in the film's final moments. The name Hangman fits his reputation for leaving others in tough spots, a contrast to his original call sign, Slayer, which Powell changed based on advice from real Navy pilots. Lieutenant Robert Bob Floyd. Among the Top Gun call signs in the sequel, Bob's, played by Lewis Pullman, stands out for being hilariously plain. While the other pilots sport cool or intimidating names, Bob's call sign is pretty unremarkable. Despite this, Bob proves to be one of the top weapons systems officers in the film. What makes Bob's call sign even funnier is that the movie never explains what it means. Fans are left wondering if it's a joke about his more reserved character, if he's in on the joke, or if there's something more to it. Pullman even hinted to the New York Times that Bob's call sign might be an acronym for Big Ol' Balls, a nickname Hangman supposedly gave him after a particularly daring moment during their training. Lieutenant Ruben Payback Fitch. Jay Ellis plays Ruben Payback Fitch in Top Gun Maverick, and his call sign is one of the more interesting ones. Payback's character is all about revenge and settling scores, and he's keen on not owing anyone anything. His weapons system officer fanboy adds to the dynamic. While Payback's call sign doesn't have a deep backstory like Rooster or Phoenix's, it's pretty straightforward and fits his role. He quickly proves himself as one of the top pilots in the program and a strong contender for the mission. However, by the end of the film, it's clear that Payback is feeling the pressure of the high-stakes mission and Maverick's intense teaching methods. And at the end, the big success of Twisters is a good sign that Top Gun 3 could be a major hit too. Powell's mention of having a date for Top Gun 3 is pretty exciting. Although Kaczynski's Formula One racing drama F1 is set to come out before Top Gun 3, the sequel might start production soon, thanks to the buzz around Twisters. In Top Gun 3, we could see a shift, where Cruise's character Maverick finally takes a step back and lets Rooster and Hangman take the lead on a mission. This would be a huge change for Maverick, who's always struggled with teamwork and letting go of his ego. It'd be a fitting way to wrap up his story, showing that Top Gun is more than just Maverick's journey. With Powell and Kaczynski both riding high on Twister's success, this kind of twist in Top Gun 3 seems pretty possible. So what are you most looking forward to in the upcoming sequel? Will Maverick's new role be a fitting end to his story, or will it pave the way for even more thrilling adventures? Don't miss out on the latest updates and deep dives into your favorite franchises. Hit that like button, subscribe to stay in the loop, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.